All right, so, you know, everyone loves a good deck, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's like the ultimate backyard upgrade,
Yeah,
from like those chill summer barbecues to
right.
like just relaxing with a good book, like
Yeah, just that, like,
the magic has
that
to.
feeling of, like, indoor, outdoor living.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're getting into all things decking.
We're talking like a full blueprint for success here. Like
Yeah.
from that first vision board
Oh, I love a good vision board.
to like actually kicking back on your finished deck.
Okay, but let's rewind for a sec.
Okay.
Before we get lost in daydreams of like, fire pits and fairy lights,
Right. You got to start somewhere.
where do we even begin? Like, for that friend who's staring out at their grassy jungle.
Okay. So it all starts with a plan, right?
Yeah.
And that plan needs a budget.
Budget. Music to no one's ears, but essential, right?
It's like the foundation.
Yeah.
HGTV, they say, have a number in mind before you even like sketch anything.
So no doodling deck designs until we've crunched some numbers.
Nope. Got to be realistic. A good rule of thumb is think 40% materials, 40% labor, 20% for those oops moments.
Oops, moments like that extra trip to the lumberyard for sure.
Exactly. Those add up.
Okay, so before I accidentally design a deck made of solid gold, how do we get a ballpark budget without, needing a degree in construction estimating?
Luckily, the internet's got our back. Just do a quick search for like average deck cost in your area.
Okay, so I'm typing that in right now.
This old house, they have a pretty cool tool on their website, breaks it down by region, size, all that.
Handy, but those are averages, right? Like, my Pinterest board might have other plans.
Exactly. Think of it as a starting point, like those fancy built-in benches. Yeah, those will bump things up.
Right, gotta factor in those splurges. Okay, so we've got a handle on the finances. Now for the fun part, picking the decking material. I'm already picturing myself lounging on some reclaimed redwood.
Yeah, easy there. It's not just about aesthetics. It's got to fit your lifestyle, budget, all that.
Right, practicality.
Now, Trex, they're a big name in composite decking.
Composite decking, is that like space age stuff?
Kind of. It's like wood fibers and plastic mixed together, super durable, low maintenance.
Low maintenance. Tell me more.
Think fade resistant, stain resistant, even scratch resistant. Plus, those warranties, some go for decades.
Wow. Okay, so composite is like the worry-free option.
Pretty much. But if you're all about that classic wood vibe,
Oh, see, I do love a good natural wood.
yeah, there's just something about it.
Yeah.
Got your pressure-treated lumber, which is budget-friendly, but you got to seal it, stain it, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Upkeep. And
They're hardwoods,
Yeah.
cedar, redwood, naturally resistant to rot and bugs.
So it's about those trade-offs, that classic look versus a little elbow grease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even within each category, you've got options. Like if you're set on wood, Ipe that's a super dense hardwood,
Okay.
lasts for ages. Pricey up front, but worth it in the long run.
It's like choosing between a vintage car and a brand new one. Both great, but different strokes. So budget set, materials are swirling around in our heads. What's next in this deck building saga?
Now for the fun part, like actually designing the thing.
Okay, so less about like the nitty-gritty numbers now, more about
Yeah.
like the vibe.
Exactly, like bring on the mood boards,
Yeah.
Pinterest boards,
Yes.
magazine clippings. Like let's get those creative juices flowing.
All right, so Pinterest board is prepped and ready. But how do we translate those dreamy deck ideas into like a real blueprint?
So first things first, you got to think about the flow.
Yeah.
Like how are you actually going to use this deck?
Okay, function over form. Got it. But we can't forget about style. What's trending in the deck world these days? Are we talking fire pits, outdoor kitchens, maybe even a pizza oven?
Oh, you're speaking my language now.
Mm-hmm.
Outdoor living is all about like bringing the indoors out,
Right.
blurring those lines.
Yeah.
And fire pits always a winner.
So cozy.
Instant ambiance, right? And outdoor kitchens, if you see what they're doing with those,
Oh, tell me everything.
it's not just a grill anymore. We're talking built-in everything. Grills, refrigerators, pizza ovens, like you said.
Stop. Now I'm just getting hungry. But
Yeah.
okay, all those bells and whistles probably come with a hefty price tag.
True. It's all about prioritizing. If you're working with a smaller budget, start with the essentials.
Right, the basic structure.
Yeah, good seating area,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a simple grill setup, and then you can always add those extras later.
I love that. You don't have to do it all at once. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure deck.
Exactly.
All right, so let's say we've got the design down, the budget's looking good. Time to call in the contractors.
Almost. But we can't forget one crucial step. Permits.
Permits. Ugh. They're important, but not exactly the most thrilling part of this process.
I hear ya,
Mm.
but think of them as like your safety net.
Mhm.
Making sure your deck is up to code and everything.
So permits protect both the homeowner and the project itself. Got it. But I'll be honest, the thought of navigating those applications makes my head spin.
That's where a good contractor really shines. Experienced pros, they're like fluent in permit language.
Right, because deciphering those forms can feel like learning a whole new language.
Exactly. They often handle the whole thing for you. Save you a lot of stress and headaches.
Music to my ears. It's like having a personal guide through the bureaucratic jungle. Okay, so we've got the design, the budget, the permits. We're finally ready for those contractor calls.
You got it. And remember, finding the right contractor is key.
It is.
Remember those tips we talked about?
Oh, yes, asking those tough questions,
Yeah.
checking those online reviews,
Absolutely.
making sure they're licensed and insured like it's serious business.
And don't be afraid to ask for like a detailed timeline,
Yeah.
payment schedule, all that good stuff.
Transparency is key.
Oh, for sure. A good contractor will be totally upfront about everything.
It's like finding the right dance partner for this deck building journey.
Mm.
So the contractor's hired, permits are approved. What happens next? Is it nonstop action or are there like periods of waiting around?
It's definitely not like watching paint dry, but it's not going to be like a demolition derby every day either.
Right.
A good contractor will keep you in the loop, though. Like, you'll see those bursts of activity when they're laying the foundation,
Yeah.
framing everything up, putting down the actual decking.
So it's like a well choreographed dance, like moments of intense action and then pauses for precision.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what about those finishing touches? Once the basic structure's up, is it all hands on deck till the very end? Or is there a point where the homeowner gets to step in and like add their own personal style?
Oh, for sure. Once that structure is done, it's all about those personal touches.
Okay.
That's where you can get creative with railing, stairs built in, seating, all those fun accessories.
Right, like planters and outdoor rugs and, maybe a hammock for good measure.
Exactly. Make it your own.
All right, so I'm picturing myself in that hammock now, surrounded by the smell of cedar and freshly cut grass. But before I get too comfy, we got to talk about the M word, maintenance.
Ah, yes.
How do you keep your deck looking amazing year after year, especially if you went with that classic wood? It's all about a little TLC. For wood decks, regular cleaning is key. And then that annual resealing, that'll help fight off the elements and keep those splinters away.
Important.
And composite decking, that's where the low maintenance really kicks in.
Right, because we talked about that.
Usually just a quick hose down and you're good to go.
So it's like choosing between, a pet and a houseplant.
Right.
Both bring you joy, but the time commitment is totally different.
Yeah.
Speaking of joy, I got to ask, what is it about decks that make them like such a coveted thing for homeowners?
It's that feeling of like expanding your living space,
Yeah.
that connection to nature. Imagine stepping out onto your deck on a warm evening breeze, rustling through the trees, cold drink in hand. It's instant relaxation.
It's funny you mentioned that feeling of connection because that's exactly what I love about DreamDecks' whole approach.
Oh, yeah. They really get it. They emphasize creating a space that's not just like an add-on, but a true extension of your home, your personality, your lifestyle.
Couldn't agree more. A well-designed deck, it becomes such a central part of your life, a place to gather with loved ones, unwind after a long day, just soak it all in.
It's like creating a space that really feeds your soul, makes your house a true sanctuary. This deep dive has been amazing. We've covered so much.
Yeah, we really have.
From like the nitty-gritty of construction to like the emotional side of these outdoor spaces.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you all about it.
Likewise.
Hopefully our listeners are feeling inspired and maybe a little more ready to tackle their own deck dreams.
To wrap things up, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting their deck building journey?
Don't be afraid to dream big, but plan realistically. Take the time to really think about how you want to use the space, the vibe you want to create, and then work with the right people to make it happen. It's a journey, but with a little planning and some creativity, you can build an outdoor oasis that you'll love for years to come.
Words to build by. And hey, if you're in Northeast Ohio, be sure to check out our friends at DreamDecks. They're the local pros who turn those deck dreams into reality.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy building, everyone.